thank you for organizing this wonderful event, and I'm very honored to introduce the basic facts about agroforestry in Slovakia. I see there are some people from the National Agricultural and Food Center here also. So if I'm missing something, they can add up something. So agroforestry in Slovakia is old wine in a new bottle. After collectivization in the socialistic bloc, we had a landscape collectivization. So a lot of landscape features were missing, and the unification or the collectivization destroyed also smaller farms, small plots, and we have now big agricultural blocks, and the agricultural landscape changed significantly. So our mission is to put on this bottle a very nice etiquette and sell it to the farmers, but it's not very easy, but it's manageable. Next slide, please. So I'm talking on the behalf of the Slovak Agroforestry Association, which was created in 2021. We have 21 members from yesterday. We made 2 conferences, mainly for farmers, just to show them how it works and to bring some light into the darkness. We also made 1 webinar for farmers on how to apply for subsidies on agroforestry, which is a new thing, and it was run this year. And we just returned this weekend from our first excursion for farmers to see agroforestry systems in Slovakia and Czech Republic, because the farmers said that they don't believe it until they don't see it and touch it. So we made it possible to go there. So we are also leading a public discourse on optimal implementation of agroforestry in Slovakia. So legislation, funding, subsidies. We are commenting and we are bombing with emails the Ministry of Agriculture and Regional Development, because the first regulation on government subsidy was not a very good job. So in our organization, we have 3 pillars: legislation, which is completely dealing with legislation, then farmers for farmers. So it's a group for farmers when they can share practice. And then we have research and innovation when we have academia. And the funny thing is that the last 10 years in agroforestry, the majority of people are from academia, and we won't have agroforestry systems only academia involved. We need farmers. So our activity is aimed to get more farmers. So we are also networking. The main players in Slovakia are Slovak Agricultural University, National Forestry Center, Ecotrend, Ecopolis, BROS, Association of Young Farmers, and NPPC, the National Agricultural and Food Center. I forgot that because some of the workers from there are working now in Ecopolis, who are also having an agenda in agroforestry. We are members of the URAF, of course, and the Slovak Agriculture and Food Chamber. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to introduce some of the agroforestry systems successfully installed in Slovakia. So this is, if you see the red star, this is Western Slovakia, Záhorie. It's completely on sand. You have a pine forest there, and you have larger agricultural blocks there. So this is a agroforestry system which is combining trees with laying hens. So there is a mobile house for hens. It is designed for 2,000 specimens, 2,000 chicken, but the ministry didn't approve one part of this mobile house, which is we call it the winter garden, where you have sunlight for the chickens. So this was not approved as a place for chickens. So instead of 2,000, they can have only 1,750 chicken there. It's a certified house, by the way, from Austria, but our legislation has problems with it. So the trees you can see on the lower picture are not so big. It's a 3-year-old system, but due to big demand, there will be a similar plot installed next year. So the main benefits of this is animal welfare, of course, better microclimate for the animals' shade. So there is also carbon sequestration because of the trees. And as I said, the soil there is sandy, so it's very good for the chicken because they like to dig, and it's the stable egg production is a pro, and also the clients like it. So the customers, so they are they would like to buy products which from happy chicken, and the chicken were not outside because it was an acclimatization phase this weekend, so we couldn't make a picture with them. But they say that what you see the sunflowers in 2 weeks is gone. So it's a very uh, very good system. The next slide, please. The other one, it's a Velkoleski Ostrov. It's an island on the Danube, which is managed by the Bratislava Regional Nature Protection Association called BROS. You can visit their site. They are managing 250 hectares on this island, and it's mostly for environmental purposes. So it's not production purposes are secondary. But it is very good to show the farmers how a silvopastoral system works. Uh, this NGO has the animals for landscape management, to manage the invasive species because it was a bit overgrown piece of land, and they have also problems. It's an island on the Danube, so they have to react quickly when the flood is coming. So it's a very dynamic, and they are doing some deworming workshops for ecological farmers who want to deworm their cattle in a natural way. So this is kind of a good networking, and it's a good place to see how the animals interact with in a silvopastoral system. Next slide, please. Okay, this is my favorite farm. It's farm with a view. On the lower picture, you can see it's underneath the High Tatras, so it's a picturesque farm. It's around 30 hectares, and it's a silvopastoral system. I mentioned there white plots. In Slovakia, we have white plots, and we name those plots white, which are abandoned agricultural plots where you have a non-forest woody vegetation. So you have trees there. So they are taken out from the land parcel information service as a non-productive plot. So it's hard to get them back or get subsidies for them. So, but in a silvopastoral system, this can work. So it's not a legal or adjusted agroforestry system, but it's working. So it's not an official one, but the trees are grazing also in these white plots. So we can name it or call it a silvopastoral system. This subject asked for subsidy this year for 16 hectares of agroforestry systems, silvopastoral agroforestry systems, but they didn't get the decision yet. But if they are if they will get it, they have to plant it till 15th of December. So it's quite near. So it's a bit stressful now. We can go to another slide. The last project, which is totally different, was juniper and silvopastoral grazing agroforestry systems, which are made or created with the help of National Forestry Center with some farmer enthusiasts for agroforestry systems. We have some protected biotopes, Natura 2000, like juniper formation on heath and calcareous grasslands. So where you need to mow them, or you need to have extensive grazing there to keep these biotopes. So the National Forestry Center, our colleagues, created 3 research plots in Slovakia, 1 hectare large. Uh, you can see the 3 red dots where it is situated in Slovakia. So it's relatively a big span. And in this 1 hectare plot, there are 80 junipers, and mainly they are doing it because Slovakian distilleries have a demand of 500 tons of drupes, of juniper drupes, and we are importing it from Albania, everything. And during this research, the researchers from the National Forestry Center found out that the local genotypes have higher content of essential oils, sugar, and fat in the drupes. So we have to keep up building these kind of agroforestry systems to get the 500 tons of drupes. But this is just the beginning. So maybe if farmers will see how it works, they can ask for subsidies. Next slide, please. So this is kind of a conclusion. What are the needs and opportunities in Slovakia? The first thing is we need to improve the legislation and clear the definition of agroforestry systems, because it's a production system, and in the Ministry of Agriculture and Regional Development, they see it as landscape features. So in the last subsidy, you are even forbidden to collect fruits from trees in agroforestry system, which is totally denies the philosophy of agroforestry systems. And also you have some nonsensical restrictions about the design of the plot, about tree species which you can use. You cannot, for example, you cannot use fast growing poplars in agroforestry systems in Slovakia, which is also football players would call it an own goal. What are the opportunities? We have a lot of opportunities because we have the mentioned white plots. So it's around 300,000 hectares of abandoned agricultural land, and their legal transformation toward agroforestry, which is not legislatively done. So it's hard to do it. And another opportunity is the Danube lowland, where we need to defragment the large agricultural blocks, because we are, I think, the most monocultural state, agricultural monocultural state in the EU. The largest problem with agroforestry is a problem with the ownership and land consolidation. So if you know the situation, if you select an area, a hectare area on a Slovakian agricultural field, you get 150 or more owners. So it's very problematic. You have to. The ideal is you own the land and you do the system by yourself. So that's the idealistic. But without land consolidation, it will be still problematic. Okay, so the current intervention calculates that we need to have 1,350 hectares of agroforestry systems in Slovakia, which is 0.07% of the total agricultural land. So that's not a lot. And this year, the first subsidy series for agroforestry, there were 16 subjects asking for subsidies for 5 years duration. So if you establish an agroforestry system in Slovakia and you have this subsidy, you have money for 5 years, and then it's over, and you can do with the trees whatever you want. You can transform it back. So here is kind of a conflict with the philosophy of agroforestry systems, because after 5, 10, 15 years you get the most of it. So our mission and what we need is to motivate farmers. The best motivation is financial, and of course if the legislation and the subsidy is written good for them correctly, then it is okay. It has to be well addressed, and yeah, there is for establishment of agroforestry systems 1 hectare you get 2,400 euros for establishment, and then you have every year consecutively 5 years 500 euro for maintenance. If you imagine that you do a silvopastoral system for cattle and you need to protect all the trees, this is not enough funding for for the establishment. So this is also this farmer has to be an enthusiast and to invest money into it, into this system, his own money. So that's maybe not very motivating. So I try to keep it consist and brief. So this is
Thank
what I
you.
have to
That's a
tell you, and for I'm willing to hear your questions. Yeah.